All right, welcome everybody. Andy here from the Indicator Store. On behalf of Pablo and myself, I want to welcome you here to this afternoon's webinar. Very excited that you came. I'm going to work really hard to make sure I provide something of real value. Anytime somebody gives up their time to listen to something I have to say, I want to value that time by making sure I deliver value to you, and I definitely plan to do that today. You made it. Awesome. Good to see you, Abby. Nice to have you. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to talk about edge erosion, this term that I coined. I believe it's the number one trader success killer. You know, why in the world do such a high percentage of traders that try to learn to short-term day trade struggle to succeed? I believe this is the number one reason. And it's a problem that every trader's got to solve. If you don't have an answer, it's awesome that you're here. Definitely awesome that you're here. Then we're also going to spend some time looking at Markers Plus, one of the most powerful pieces of software in the industry, I believe, that I know I'm excited about it, and I think you will be too. Why? There we go. Always important that we take a moment to look at our risk disclosure and disclaimer. I know you guys have all seen this a bunch, so it's easy to gloss over it, but make sure you take time to really understand all the details in there because they're important. Here's today's agenda. The problem's edge erosion, and we're going to talk about that. Make sure you really understand what it is and how it affects you. We're going to talk about a solution. Markers Plus combined with 3 key elements truly can combat. Not all, it's impossible to get rid of all of it, but the majority of how edge erosion affects every trader. And we're going to talk about Markers Plus. What can it do? Super powerful stuff that I am really looking forward to introduce to many of you for the first time, and to those of you that have seen it before. Hopefully I'll show you something new. We're going to share some special offers with you, and then I'm actually going to build a simple system with Markers Plus right in front of you, and we're going to analyze or look at all the trades that are generated from the system this week. One of the reasons I'm a little bit more excited about that part of our presentation than normal is at the end of last week, I got challenged by a couple of traders. Excuse me, I do have a cough, everybody, so I apologize in advance on that. If I'm going to have a really big coughing fit, I will do my best to mute the mic. So I got challenged, by a couple of traders, and basically they said something like, and I'm sure you've all felt the same way, Andy, Pablo, just give us a system that makes money consistently, and we'll love the Indicator Store and we'll all be happy. Just give us a system that makes money consistently. And of course, my initial reaction was to push back with the general response, which is a very true response. There is no such thing as a black box indicator or system like everybody wishes they could find. They keep buying lots of different things, hoping that one will, quote unquote, work consistently. There is no such thing, guys and gals, and this is what I hope by the end of this presentation you can start to really see what I'm saying when it comes to this. The reason there's no such thing is because the market makers, the institutions, the big boys that run the market and push the market around, they are not going to allow inefficiencies to remain in the market for any period of time. And when something repeats itself enough for a short-term day trading system to take advantage of and work over and over and over months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, that's an inefficiency that will never last. The market makers, the institutions, the hedge funds, they won't allow it. They're the ones who want to make the money. They're not going to allow that type of inefficiency to remain. So I hope if nothing else happens from this presentation except this, I really hope some of you come to the conclusion and realize that you're never going to buy a system that's you're going to be able to turn on that is going to consistently win for you over the next year as a short-term active day trader, 2, 3, 4, 5 minimum trades a day. Now, swing trading, position trading, something like that may exist. And it'd probably cost you 50 grand to purchase it if it was a good one. But for active day trading, it's not available. It doesn't exist. So to yourself, well, why the heck are we even here, Andy? Well, let me tell you. Okay, so I started this by saying a couple of traders challenged me, right? And I pushed back and gave them that answer because that's a true answer. But then I said, you know what? Let me do what we do. So at the indicator store, what we do is we have a lot of high quality systems and tools, and we teach traders. First of all, we provide high quality tools and indicators. But then with our indicator of the month club and the training that we're doing in there, we teach traders how to get the most of their tools on a consistent basis and how to become a consistently profitable trader by eliminating edge erosion, which we'll talk about in a moment, but also by knowing how to build a system and then choose the right system to use at the right time and how to optimize the system. And that's what I want to talk about. So I was challenged by these traders last weekend, the 9th and 10th, I believe, is Saturday and Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Just checking the dates. Yep, the 9th and 10th. I optimized one of my short-term or one of my trend crossing systems, okay? And I optimized it for the trading that occurred during the week, okay? That is correct. This is for, I think you'll get something out of it, so I hope you hang around, but this session is primarily for folks that aren't totally familiar with the indicator store. Tomorrow is our session at Tien for the indicator of the month club. So I optimized it for last week's data, okay? I'll tell you what, this system is clicking on all cylinders. If we could just have a time machine and go back to Monday the 4th, once I tweaked this system and got it all going, and if we could take a time machine back to Monday the 4th and take all the trades that it produced, whoo, we'd all make a killing, right? And I'm sure you've felt that before. That's probably how you feel when you see a lot of presenters present after the fact stuff, right? So what I want to tell you that I did because of these two traders is I optimized it, and then I said, okay, let's see how it does this week. I didn't touch it since Sunday. So I optimized it on the 9th and the 10th, and I have not touched it, have not changed a setting since then. Now, there is no guarantee in that type of a situation, even though the system did outstanding last week, there's no guarantee that it will do well moving forward. We all know that that's true. So I'm going to show you that system. I'm going to build that system right in front of you, and we'll set it up to have the exact settings that I created last weekend, and then we'll see how it did this week. And I will also, for those of you that are interested, I'll continue to share how the exact system with no alterations does tomorrow and does next week. Now, it's doing very well. Okay, I took a lot of the trades this week. I couldn't trade all week, unfortunately. I had a lot of work to do, but I did execute a lot of the trades, and it did exceptionally. I don't know how long it's going to continue to do well. It might do well for another few days. It might do well for another few weeks. But this system I'm going to give to the Indicator of the Month Club tomorrow, guys. During our training session, I'm going to teach you exactly how to build it with all the settings, and then we can have a fun time using it as we move forward. And we'll see how long the condition or the system continues to do well. And if it starts to drop off, I'll work to optimize it again. And those of you that are in the Indicator of the Month Club, we'll teach you how to do that optimization, but always know that I'm there to support you. So I talked a lot more about that than I was anticipating, but I'm excited about sharing that. So what is an edge? To be a profitable trader, we have to have an edge. All an edge really is it's a defined set of rules that when followed 100 times creates more profits than losses when all said and done. There's three main pieces that make up an edge. There's the win percentage, there's the risk to reward, and then there's the frequency of the number of trades. Now, over the last 25 years, companies have sold hundreds of, probably thousands of trading systems, all of which claimed to have an edge. Am I right? So my question is this: if all these systems have an edge, then why are more traders who bought these systems not finding success? That really is the big question, right? If all these systems you guys purchase supposed to have an edge, why are you not successful? The answer is this thing called edge erosion in most cases. So why do so many traders fail to find consistent profitability? The primary reason is this thing we call edge erosion. Most traders end up having small, technically controllable things that don't go their way throughout the trading day, over and over and over, these little things. And little by little, their edge gets eroded away, just like the rocks there. So let me tell you a couple of quick stories, and let me know if you can relate to anything that I'm saying here in your own trading, okay? I'll probably just tell maybe 3 examples when I'm sure we could all give 10 or 15. So let's say you're sitting there trading away. You have your trading plan in front of you. You know what your exact rules are. You're watching the market, and things just tend to be a little bit slow. So it's about 40 minutes, and you haven't gotten a trade, another trade for over 40 minutes. And so you're focused, but you're relaxing a little bit. Then the market starts to pick up pace, and before one of your signals comes, but you just barely miss it. So you miss it, and boom, the market picked up, and a really quick, fast winner. Anytime you miss a winning trade, that is a massive edge killer, major edge erosion. Okay, so now that just happened to you. So now what do? Well, okay, now you really get focused. You're like, okay, I am not going to miss another one. I'm ready to go here, super pumped. And you're on the edge of your seat. You got your finger over your mouse button. You're watching for all your rules, and you see a trade setup coming, and boom, you click, you're in the market, and you realize, oh crap, that didn't quite qualify because that line wasn't quite. So you anticipated a little bit because you were so focused. You jumped just a little bit too soon, and of course, the market spun really quickly and hit you with a loss. So now you just took a trade that wasn't part of your trading plan, and that was a loss. Total edge killer, edge erosion. Now you've been at trading, for 3 or 4 hours. You've got your ice water with you, excuse me, to stay hydrated, and you got to go to the bathroom. Well, what happens inevitably every time you go to the bathroom? Of course, you miss a winning trade or two, right? Never losing trades, always winning trades. Edge killers. You cannot miss winning trades that fit your plan. So those are just 3 examples of some stories. Am I the only person that's experienced that kind of stuff, or have some of you guys experienced that also? This kind of thing happens all the time, and there's another, 10 or 15 similar type examples. Thank you. I see that. Yes. I knew I wasn't the only one. I appreciate that. But I'm joking a little bit, guys, but you know that it happens all the time, these types of things. So how do we fight edge erosion? There's 3 main keys, and I believe this with all my heart, guys, that these 3 things, okay, I'm going to make a very tough statement here, very rigid statement that I'm sure all of you are not going to believe. You're going to resist. And it's okay if you resist it now, okay? But please listen to my words and think about them and really let it sink in. And maybe you don't believe me right now, but maybe, a little time down the road, you might say, you know what? Maybe Andy was right about that. I've come to the place about 9 months ago where I am now of the opinion that short-term day traders must automate. It's not an option. Unless you're one of the 1% of the elite who just has this knack and feel and basically you're just super successful with any tool, even though 99 other people try to use the same tool and they fail. If you're one of those 1%, you're lucky. But if you're an average person like most of us, automation is not an option, it's a necessity, in my opinion. So here are our 3 keys, okay? Automation is a must. We need to increase our risk to reward ratio. We're going to talk more in detail about that in a second, but the bottom line is we can't get rid of all edge erosion, so we need to start with a little bit bigger edge. And one of the easiest ways to do that is increasing risk to reward. And then we want to make sure the math is always on our side. I'm not going to tell you anything in that segment that you probably haven't already heard at one time or another, but if you're honest, I bet you don't apply a lot of the things that I'm going to say. And putting all these little pieces of the puzzle together at the same time is what is going to cause you to be able to overcome edge erosion and actually start to see consistent profitability. Automation, it's a must. We must take advantage of technology to minimize edge erosion. The big boys out there are all automating. The hedge funds, the institutions, the market makers, they are all automated. They're using technology to help them every way possible. You know that that's true. So why in the world are we still sitting back here and most of us are clicking our mouse? We've got to automate. Now, I'm a believer in semi-automation, okay? Markers Plus has the ability to go full auto also, and I'll tell you about the difference in both of them, but I believe in semi-automation. I believe that we let the robot do what the robot is best at, and then that frees us up to be able to do the things that we are most skilled at doing and that we can actually do better than the robot. There's certain tasks that active short-term day traders do over and over and over, and it might be hard to hear, but the robot can do it better, okay? Like determining trade qualification. And what I mean by that is, people's systems have all different kinds of rules, but if you have any of those rules in there that this line has to be sloped this way or this thing has to look that way, those things are subjective, and in real time, they can be hard to make sure you're getting it right. Like that one example I said that I thought it qualified, but then I entered the trade and then I realized that it didn't quite qualify. Well, the robot won't make that mistake. It either qualifies or it doesn't. End of story. Anytime you're hovering over your mouse and you're using your mouse, whether it be trade entry, trade management, trade exit, the robot can do all that stuff so much better than we can, guys. We have to eliminate the errors that occur so frequently in these areas. I just had a trader recently tell me, Andy, I have no problem entering my trades manually. And all I say to those of you that really think that that's true, I just encourage you. I'm not trying to be, I don't even know the right word, but I'm not trying to be, mean or hard, but I just want you to try to really take a look at it. Take a look really closely. And I think you will see that there are areas where mistakes are made, even if most of the time, because honestly, I'm really good at it also. Part of the reason that I took a long time to come around to believing that automation was so necessary is I'm actually really good at it. Those of you that know me from the past, I'm like this super scalper, meaning, I would take 30, 40, 50 trades a day sometimes, and that's a lot of clicking the mouse. So believe you me, I was good at it. I liked it. So for me to come around full circle, you can come around too. And believe me, all we have to, you just miss one winning trade, and that significantly shifts your whole situation as far as profitability for the day. If you miss one winner and add a loser, all these things stack up. If that happens on average every day, which I think it does to most traders that trade actively, by the end of a month, you're talking high hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in difference that you could have had, or so on and so forth, had you not had those errors, okay? Increase reward to risk, combats edge erosion. Now, for years, system developers have wooed traders with high win percentage systems. while no one's going to knock having a high win percentage, certainly not me, it's important that it does not come at the expense of reward to risk. Sorry, my slide got shoved up there. I'm not sure how that happened. Sorry about that. The key is that increasing reward to risk cannot come at the expense of, having a high win percentage can't come at the expense of reward to risk. The bottom line is the more trades we execute, the more places edge erosion can get involved. So fewer large wins are preferred over a large number of smaller wins when it comes to edge erosion. The minimum suggested reward to risk is 1.5 to 1, but 2 to 1 or more is really preferred. Let's take a look for a second at the details of a system that trades at 2 to 1 times reward to risk. Now, there's nothing complicated about what you see there. I just want to try to have you guys sit back and relax for a moment and try to envision. This is some of the little things that I do with the Indicator of the Month Club, and I'll tell everybody exactly what that is. I'll give you all the details on that when we get near the end of the presentation. But the Indicator of the Month Club, in the weekly training in there, I try to reset the participants' minds. Many of, because I'm guilty of this too, believe me. We need to be able to view things a little bit differently than we have for so long. If what we've been doing hasn't been working, however long you've been trying to trade, if you're not reaching your goals, please be open to try to view things a little bit differently. So let's just think about this for a second. At only 3 wins out of 10, so that means you're losing 7 trades. Nobody likes to lose. I want you guys to get more comfortable with losing. Losing is okay, because losing can lead to winning as far as, the bottom line is concerned. At only 3 wins out of 10, you're going to lose a little bit if you're at 2 to 1, but pretty close. You're pretty close to break even. Winning only 3 trades out of 10. I mean, most of us, I sit there and I think, what? Of course I can win 3 out of 10. You know what I mean? Hey, Greg, great to see you. So at 4 out of 10, you're actually making solid money. A question that I have for you guys out there that are not yet reaching your goals, I want you to sit there and think for a moment, what's more important, making, $400 a day, or what? The number is different for everybody, but, I think too many traders have in their mind, they're chasing this bigger number. And guys, believe me, you can get to whatever number you have in your head, but I think we come at it from the wrong way. Because if you can make $60 a day per contract on the YM, the mini Dow, that $60 might not seem like a lot, but if you can get consistent in doing that, you can parlay that. You can translate that by trading more contracts and so on into a whole heck of a lot more money. We need to be less concerned about chasing a specific dollar amount and more concerned about doing things the right way to generate a consistent profit, no matter how big or little it is, even if it's only $60 a day. Trust me, if you can listen to what I'm teaching and get consistent and generate $60 a day, I promise I'll teach you how to parlay that up to a much bigger number. So at 5 wins out of 10, you're going to be making a very sizable quality chunk of money at 50% winners. And that's my benchmark. When I'm creating a system with a multiple times reward to risk concept, I'm trying to, I want to try to win 50% of the time, because that's a very solid, consistent. Any more than that, and the money starts to get really, really nice. Okay? When you're using multiple times reward to risk. We got to make the math always work for us, because we can seriously take a chunk out of edge erosion over the long haul by putting certain things in our favor all the time. Now, none of these things are things that you haven't probably heard of before, but do you always make sure they're on your side? And there's several more that I'm not going to mention here, but I do teach in the Indicator of the Month Club. So a big one is keeping your max daily loss level lower or about the same at the worst case as your average daily gain. So let that sink in for a second. If you're never losing, if you never allow yourself to lose more than what you gain on an average day, you can start to relax and feel a little bit more comfortable about what's happening. Okay? And these are things that people hear and they think about, but a lot of times they don't always make sure that they're putting them into practice. Number two, when things are good, we've all participated in days where it's just clicking, baby. It's just working. It's just one of those days. And generally they happen once a week, sometimes every other week, generally at least 2 times a month, sometimes a little bit more. Those are the kinds of days we want to have the confidence in what we're doing to increase our trade size. Add some contracts, and that's easier to do in something like the YM where it's only $5 a point. I hate comparing trading to gambling, but this is the one area I do it because it's such a good analogy. Excuse me. And, blackjack, card counters that play blackjack consistently can make money. And how do they do it? Well, because they increase their bet size when they know the odds are in their favor. When the cards are in their favor, they increase their bet size. And over the long haul, they're absolutely going to make money. And that's what we're talking about here. When things are clicking and things are rolling, your downside is protected. Just because you increase the number of contracts you're trading, you're never going to lose more than your max daily loss, which is a level you're comfortable with already. So now you go from a situation, let's just say the max daily loss is $200 a day. You're going to a situation where on the special days when things really cruising, you might be able to make $600 or $800 or even $1,000 or who knows, $1,500 because you're increasing your trade size. Your downside's always protected. Now think about how that would shift your overall thing if you're never losing more than 200 when things go badly. But you have some days where you make $800 or $1,000 or even $1,500. If that only happened even once or twice a month, can you see how that would shift the profitability equation dramatically? These are things we have to do, guys, if we're going to buck this trend and break this trend of not being consistently profitable. You guys can do it. Seriously, you can. I don't care how many years you've been at this. If you take what I'm saying and you really let it sink in and you really listen to it, you let me support you, I really believe you can do this. Hopefully you read that one. We're going to move on. All right, we're here. Markers Plus. Let's talk about it. This will only take a few minutes, and then we're going to look at the charts. So we're getting close to the fun stuff. Markers Plus is absolutely the best tool to be able to not only automate any signal that you currently have, but also to create your own indicators. How about not having to pay a programmer anymore when you have a great idea? You can use Markers Plus to actually create your own indicator and then automate it if you want. Super powerful. I got another thought for you. I know a bunch of you own quite a few systems out there. You've bought systems from other vendors and stuff. Think about being able to automate those systems. So systems that you might have already said, you know what, that thing is just not consistent enough. I can't get it to work, and you feel like it's a loss. Well, guess what? It might not be. You might be able to dust that sucker off, use Markers Plus to automate it, and then guess what else you can do? You can use Markers Plus to add some filters to it. How often have you had a trading system that you're like, dang it, why does it take these counter trend trades? It spits out a trade that's obviously not a trade you'd ever want to take. Well, you can use Markers Plus to add a filter that eliminates those trades. And there's all different kinds of cool filters you can use for that type of thing. So some of you might be able to dust off some of those old purchases that you have from the past and use Markers Plus to automate them and to add certain filter qualifications that might actually increase their edge and make them viable. Okay, so hopefully you've read over all this stuff. We're going to go through it piece by piece now. So again, any signal that you get on your chart, any chart marker that appears on your chart, you now have the ability to detect that and then automate it, turn it into a signal that can be either full automation or semi-automation. And let's talk about the difference real quick. Full automation means the robot is going to take every trade. It's going to buy, then it's going to sell, and it's going to buy, sell, and it's just going to keep doing it all day long. I personally don't believe, in certain circumstances, as long as you're there managing it and stuff, I'm not saying that that's the end of really, really bad, but what I believe in is semi-automatic mode. And how that works is if you're watching the market and you have longs and shorts turned on and it takes a trade, let's say it takes a long and it's a winner. Well, then long is going to turn off. It's going to be gray instead of green. And so you have to decide, okay, are the conditions such for my system that I want to take another long trade if it happens? And if it does, you turn it back on. So you interact with the system. You let the system do all the stuff it's good at, but you use your brain a little bit to determine whether or not you're in a good market condition for the trades you want to take. Markers Plus integrates fully with NinjaTrader ATM strategies, so you can have trailing stops of any kind you can imagine. You can have break even, auto break evens, all the different things you can think of. You can take advantage of with Markers Plus as it integrates seamlessly with Ninja ATMs. Markers Plus has several universal tools that are so powerful. I'm actually going to use the crossover detection tool to create the system that I'm going to show you guys in about 5 minutes. And the cool thing about this is you can detect a crossover of any two lines. Now, not just moving average lines like what we see on the chart here, but any two lines you can think of. The midpoint of a Bollinger, the upper band of a Bollinger, the one of the RSIs, part of the MACD. You can combine crosses of any two lines you can think of. There's more creativity that can occur in that than you can fathom. So if you're a creative person, get ready to be excited because it's fun and powerful. We have a slope detector. How about being able to detect the slope of any line? Again, not just a moving average, but any part of a MACD or CCI or RSI or any of those indicators, any different lines, we can detect the slope of. You can use that as a signal. You can use it as a filter to keep you out of trades. You can use it as an exit point. So not only can our entries automated, but exits can be specified and automated as well. So super, super amazingly powerful software. We got custom signals and filters where we get to create, like I said, kind of most things you can dream up. There's a lot of doggone functionality that Markers Plus can do. And not only on the signal side, but also on the filter side. So let's say you have your system in place and you're like, well, I love what this is doing, but I wish it wouldn't take trades in this situation. And you can think about how to design a filter that will cause Markers Plus to not take trades during that condition. So pretty cool. All right, so there's that. Here's our limited time offers. We got a special offer for attendees on Markers Plus. So that software I just talked about. And guys, let me tell you this, it is not that expensive. When I first started talking to Pablo again, Pablo and I have been buddies for 15 years or more, but more recently, I'm like, man, why do you sell that thing for so cheap? So it's a great deal. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. It's worth every penny of $3 or $4 grand, I think. But it sells for very affordably, so that's cool, and we're actually going to give you a pretty significant special price for that. So just send me an email if you'd like to get that special price. And then also 33% off the Indicator of the Month Club if you're interested in that. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the Indicator of the Month Club is on the next slide. So for a limited time, you can pay $100, $99.99, instead of the regular price of $150. And the discount remains in effect as long as you're a subscriber. So you save that $50 a month forever as long as you're a subscriber. So take down my email there. Shoot me an email. You can even do that now if you know you're interested in having access to the discounted links. You don't have to wait till the end. So here's the Indicator of the Month Club. There's three main things that we're doing in this club. Number one, subscribers will receive a new indicator every month. So both Pablo and I are super creative when it comes to creating edges and quality new tools. So we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit. Sometimes it'll be Pablo's creation and invention, and sometimes it'll be mine. But subscribers are going to get a new tool, a new indicator every single month. Number two, we're going to provide a weekly email that provides settings updates for all the settings that are most optimal for the indicators in the club. Now, this is extremely valuable. Let me make sure everybody understands what this means. We've been kind of talking about this throughout the presentation that, you know, the markets are always changing. The market makers, the hedge funds, the institutions, they make sure of that. They want to stay out in front. They're always moving the market in different ways, and it's always changing. So the settings for each indicator and tool, the optimal setting to get the most out of that tool, it's not going to stay the same all the time. So what's better than having the person who invented the tool itself provide you with the best settings each week? So we're going to update the settings of the tools. So super, super valuable there. We'll do that on a weekly basis. And there's also weekly training. I do most of this, but Pablo will come in from time to time with, you know, some of his, when we need his input, he will be there. There's three main things that are focused on in the training. Number one, we want to make sure that each subscriber is getting the most out of the tool. So each new indicator and all the indicators in the club, we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of them. Number two, though, I'm going to continue to provide training on how to combat edge erosion. Guys, I really believe, I really honestly, I hope you can hear the sincerity in my voice. I know in an audience this big that so many of you have been at this for quite a long time and haven't reached the level of success that you would like, maybe no success at all, or just haven't been able to get as successful as you want. I really believe I'm onto something here. And I believe I've put together a knowledge base that I can translate to you to help you view things differently and help you be able to overcome some of the hurdles that are necessary for you to crack through to get to that consistent profitability. Believe me when I tell you, a lot of you are going to be really think it's really cool what I'm about to show you next when I build the system and you see how successfully it traded this week. But I want to tell you, it's not going to, the system is not going to save you ever, you know. And that's not to say what I'm going to show you isn't really cool and very excited. I'm actually very excited by it. But what I want to tell you, if you don't let your mind shift a little bit and understand what's happening to you with this edge erosion and kind of come at things a little bit different direction, understand that your system as it is, even this system that I'm going to show you in a moment, it's not going to be as successful, you know, 6 months from now, most likely, as it was this week. I'm going to have to update it. I'm going to have to tweak it. I'm going to have to do these things, or maybe put it on the shelf and use something different that's more suited for what's happening right now. So that's the mindset that needs to change. You need to realize you can do this. I'm not saying that, you know, because there's not a system out there that you can't, because I'm saying you can't just purchase a system and then turn the system on and it's going to, you know, be consistent for you. Because that's not true that you should just give up. That's not what I'm saying. You can do it. I believe that you can, but you have to be willing to come at it a little differently. You have to be willing to have 3 or 4 systems that are good, robust, basic systems, and then you have to learn how to apply them at the right time. For this, week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe this system's kicking it, and that's awesome. But then if it starts to not do that well, you have to realize, okay, maybe I can optimize it, and if I can, that's great. Or maybe I need to look at one of these 2 systems that maybe fits what's happening in the market now a little bit better. So that's a little bit of a shift for some of you, but I'm telling you, you can do it, and I really believe at the indicator score here, we have the exact tools and the desire and the ability to help you guys. I really do. And then number 3, we're going to provide all the ongoing support in all areas, that are relevant to your success. So this club is kind of my baby, if you will, and I really want to see people in this club succeed. I'm tired of traders not succeeding. I really, so I'm really pouring myself into it, guys. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Or wait, we got a couple more quick slides. Take a picture of that. We got Pablo's email, my email. We got our webpage, blog, Google, Twitter, the whole 9 right there. All right, let's look at some examples. Let's build a system. You want to? Let's do it. First, we'll just show our disclosure real quick. And let's build a system. All right. So here we go, guys. What you are looking at here is an E-mini Dow chart, okay? Just a blank chart. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to explain everything that I'm doing. I've done that before I'm just going to scroll back to Monday here. I'm going to build the system real quick so you can see how easy it is to build. I'm actually going to give the exact optimization, all the settings, and exactly what goes into the heartbeat of making this do what it does. I'm going to give that to our Indicator of the Month Club tomorrow. So I'm not going to identify every little thing in here, but you are going to watch me build it. Let me reiterate real quick, okay? I took a basic system that many of us have and use, just a simple basic crossover system. And I was challenged by a couple of traders. Remember, I started the webinar talking about this. I was challenged by a couple of traders, and I said, you know what? They're asking for a profitable system. Let me create one for them. Now, the difference is I'm not saying or trying to sell something saying, here's the answer. Look at this great system, because what I am saying is this system might not work next week. But it's working great now, and the Indicator of the Month Club and I are going to have fun watching to see how long it stays in favor. And if it starts to drift out of favor, I might have to try to optimize it a little, which I'll do. But last weekend, so the 9th and the 10th, I optimized the system. And how do you optimize the system? Well, size of the bars is something that can change. The size of the moving averages, or what you use to be your crossover, that can change. There's really 3, 4, or 5 different elements that if any one of them changes even a little, it actually changes the results pretty dramatically. So what we're looking at here are uni-Renko bars. Is there anybody in the house that needs a description of what a uni-Renko bar is, or does everybody know? Let me know. I'll describe it if you're not sure. I wasn't sure not too long ago. I actually learned about these not all that long ago. So, but I won't take the time to do it if everybody knows. So different size uni-Renko bars. There's, again, like I said, 5 different settings, maybe 6, that if you play with them, even just one little tweak can change the results dramatically. So what I did is I optimized the system for the 5 prior trading days, from the 4th, Monday the 4th through Friday the 8th. And I created the best settings that I could find for if I could take a time machine and go back to Monday and trade that week. I created the system to do really great during that week. Now the question is, will it do good moving forward? You never know for sure. Okay, when you optimize something, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if you know what you're doing a little bit and you don't over optimize, a lot of times you could get, a little bit of a run. So I have not touched this system since Sunday. I have not changed the rules one iota. They're exactly the way they were last weekend. And I just let this system roll all week long. I took a bunch of the trades, didn't trade everything because I was busy doing a lot of different stuff. But I did execute a bunch of the trades that you're going to see here live. And I was so hoping today would be a good day, whenever you're having a presentation day, you hope the day's good, and I'll show you in a moment, but it was pretty good. So the answer to a Uni-Renko bar, every bar is a certain size, and a new bar does not paint in until you break out of that size. So it's kind of like a range bar in that way, okay? But then how it reverses is what's different. So whatever size the bar is, you can specify different things, but I generally do, if my bar is 10 ticks big, then I have the reversal be 20, so double the size of the bar. So you don't get, if you're green, you don't get a red bar until you get a move down that's twice as big as the size of the bar. And basically that just keeps happening back and forth. And what the Uni-Renko bars do is they really smooth the chart out. I mean, range bars do that too, but Uni-Renko bars get rid of a lot of the noise, and they're pretty cool, for that way. Okay, let's build this system. Somebody's put a stopwatch on me. See how quickly I can do this. I'm going to take a quick drink, and then I'm going to build this system. Are you ready to see the power of markers in action? So here we go. I'm going to grab, I'm not going to really detail every little thing that I'm doing. I'm just going to do it pretty quick. You guys can see it happening and know how quick it is. Some systems are a little bit more in depth than others. But basically the tools are really easy to use, and that's what's so cool. Okay, there's my first line. I'm going to do that same thing again. And before you know it, I will have created an indicator. Now, I am not going to add any filters because from an optimization standpoint, sometimes it really makes sense to have like a trend filter or something, but it did not make sense. So I didn't use it. So now I'm going to bring these two lines up to the chart, and you can see the crossing happening here. And now I am going to use our universal markers plus crossover, and we are going to create some signals. Bam. And now we got signals, okay? And now one more step to enable this system to actually trade the signals for me to automate. We use Markers Plus. We add this to our chart, and a few things are already configured in here, just as always the same for me, but there's nothing else I really have to do there. And I click OK, and this is it up in here. Okay, check this out up in here for a moment. If we were in full auto mode, okay, these would, if the next long trade that occurred in real-time live, if that was lit green, it would take the trade. Same true with the short. When the F is illuminated yellow, if you have a filter that you're using, it would filter when the yellow is, the F is yellow for filter, it means the filter is turned on. So let's say I was only supposed to take trades with the trend. That was the way my filter was designed. Then it would not have taken this short. It would pass it over. If the F is grayed out, that means the filter is not engaged. So how I like to trade is I start the day with both of them turned on. If a long trade occurs after the trade is a win or a loss, it'll be gray. And then I have to decide, is the market condition such that I want to turn it back on or not? And in the case of how I traded this current system, it was more actually like full auto mode than anything else. All right. I just need to do a couple of things here. And now I'm ready to go. So while I'm going through this, guys, I'm not going to be looking at my questions, okay? I will definitely take time to answer questions after we go through looking at the chart. So remember, guys, this system was created a week ago, Saturday and Sunday, and I have not touched the settings for the system. These signals, a bunch of them, I actually, allowed the auto trader to execute these things for real. But I did have a lot of work to do this week, so I didn't only trade. But a lot of these signals were actually executed in real time. And they don't move. They are what they are. So these were the real systems. I didn't change anything. Okay, so let's just run through it real quick. Oh, before we do, let's just talk about profit targets and stops. For this type of a system, profit targets and stops are very individual in nature, but there are some guidelines. And generally for a system like this, I believe the stop needs to be somewhere between 8 and 12 ticks. If somebody was going to go for real high profit targets only, they could use a little bit higher stop. But between 8 and 12 ticks is where I believe the best kind of stop resides for this type of a system. And then I like to go for, with the YM, because it's only $5 a tick, you really can trade multiple contracts even on a smaller account. So I like to go with a 3-contract strategy, and often we'll take profit target 1 off at 12 ticks just to kind of lock one in there, even when we're not getting big moves, or at least we're grabbing something. And then target 2 usually around 24 ticks, target 3 somewhere between 36 and 48 ticks. So on the bigger runs, we're really getting that multiple risk to reward. So those are the basic general guidelines. And, whether or not you lock things up, break even at any point, that's really an individual thing. I personally hate to lose. If I get up 9 or 10 ticks, do I really want to take a full loss? Usually not. So generally, if I get up 9 or 10 ticks, a lot of times I'm locking up the stop. So let's just kind of go through. I start trading usually around 7, sometimes as early as 6. So the first trade of the morning, boom. And there is 34, 70, so about 26, 27, 28 ticks worth of profit available there. Next trade of the day, unfortunately, is a loss, okay, a small loss. Oh, one other thing. And honestly, this is a rule that I went into the week with, so I maintain the rule, even though, quite honestly, the rule did not, if I didn't have the rule this week, I think we would have done better overall. And the rule is this. When I take a losing trade, I will not execute another trade for 10 bars. And this is why, this type of price action is why the rule is in place. I do not want to ever get chopped up. So let's say, this is 3 a.m. in the morning, so obviously I'm not trading. But if I took that trade, none of the rest of these trades would have been executed, because 10 bars to the next, I will not execute another trade for 10 bars, okay? And it basically, what it does is it helps weed out the chop. And it's a somewhat arbitrary rule a little bit, but I'm telling you, it really works great. It really does. I would rather miss some nice winning trades like this one than I would take 2 or 3 losses back to back. Boom, 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 boom. That's just way too painful. So missed out on that nice winning trade. Okay. Next trade, a really nice big winner with some quality follow through. All right, let's see about how much. 59. So 48 ticks worth of profit there. Really nice big one. Next one, another nice winner, maybe not quite as big, but a nice good run. Here's a trade where we ended up getting about 9 or 10 ticks worth of profit. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to put a little dot next to that one. We're going to call that one a break even instead of a loss, because we did get up to that level. It's okay with me when we start adding up things if you want to call every break even a loss. I don't really have a problem with that. Another trade here, small win, 51 up to, well, it's actually 17, 18 ticks available there, so not that small. Remember, guys, these are fully auto-generated, so we have Markers Plus ready to rock, pulling the trigger, and it's doing all the heavy lifting. You know, we don't have to do anything. And that's a pretty exciting thing. Next opportunity down here, another gigantic win. So hopefully you have one profit target where you're going for a lot, because 28 up to, that was about 90 ticks of a run. Now, I personally probably would not have taken full advantage of that. I would have, my biggest profit target probably would have been about 48 ticks. All right, decent little winner here. Not too bad. Let's see, 92 down to 7. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is slippage. Okay, slippage is generally part of the game. You have to get to a place where you're just okay with a tick or two of slippage. It often happens. So just kind of sort of, you know, be aware with that. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you even get a better price, but it does happen. So we got another loss here. I think this is our second loss of the day. And again, it negates a gorgeous move down. So you'll see, oh, and these are actually the last trades of the day for Monday. So I don't tend to trade overnight, but man, look at these gorgeous 4 trades in a row. Big, nice wins from like 9 at night to midnight or something like that. Or 9 to 10 at night. Actually, another one. 5 in a row. So we won't count those. Let me take those off so I don't accidentally count them. But those are doggone nice looking trades. So now we're moving on to Tuesday. Okay, we get to 7 o'clock. Here we go. It's always nice to start the day with a win. Not just a win, but a big win. 2019 60 tick winner available, so that would have been winner on all profit targets. Another gorgeous big win. Loving it. And believe it or not, excuse me, this little trade here gets 9 or 10 ticks into the profit, so I'm going to call it a break even. I'm okay. Like I said, if you guys want to call those losses, I don't have a problem with it. 20 or so ticks available here, 21 or so. And then unfortunately, we just get nicked out on this one. You know, it just pulls back a little bit too much. So that one was a loser. Thankfully, there were 10 bars here before this next trade. So we're able to jump on that. I'm just going to keep picking up my speed a little bit here so I can get to questions for you guys. Another win up here. So guys, this is, you know, this is exciting because this is fully auto mode. I mean, these results are good for sure, but they're real. I mean, this is actually what happened, you know, so it's pretty doggone exciting. And now for those of you that are the Indicator of the Month Club, we're going to see this tomorrow, or I'm going to teach this to you tomorrow. And then next week, let's hope this baby can keep going, you know, because it basically now it's had a 2-week run, because remember, it did great. It's how I created it the week before. It did great. And then this week was the first week that it was live and untouched, though, if you will. So another loser here, and unfortunately for me, it negated that huge win, which is a total bummer. By the way, these horizontal lines on here are support and resistance lines. That it's a methodology that I draw, or that I my own methodology. I draw them manually. Most of the lines are created on Sunday for the week ahead, but then as the week progresses, a few additional lines are added. But all these lines are here in advance. So it's neat to see the market reacting. I should have noticed that before, but look at that. I mean, you know, we have quite a few really nice hits on the support and resistance. So, you know, I'm much more excited, for example, about this short coming off of that resistance area and this long coming after this support area and so on. And that's the last trade of the day there. So that was Tuesday. Now we move on. And wait a second. I just blew through the day. Wow, a lot less price action on Wednesday, it looks like. So our first, this one was maddening. So first trade of the day, doggone it, right after the market opened, a loser, hate it, which negated for me that winner. This is right around where I started to wise up, and I'm like, you know what? If it's a whipsaw like this, I think I'm going to take the next one. I'm not going to count that, though. I'm going to stay with the rule. But this week in particular, so many times where it whipped right back, that next trade was a nice big win. But anyway, we're off and running again off of a resistance area. Boom. Let's see how much we got on this available on this one. About 30 ticks available on that one. Doggone, this one just barely came back and stopped it out. So if somebody was using a little bit bigger stop that I'm comfortable with, that one could have been a win too, but for me, a loss. At a 12-tick profit target, this one did just barely get to target, as did this one. Kind of nice. As did this one. This one was not little, though. Pretty, you know, it depends. Do you survive through these pullbacks or not? It has everything to do with, you have to decide in advance, you know, whether you're going to ride these out for bigger targets or not. No totally right answer on that, but I definitely give some pointers. Gorgeous big win here. Let's see what's available. 05. So 40 ticks, 41 ticks available there. This one grabs 9 or 10 ticks, maybe 11. Call it a break even. And then, dang it, this little whipsaw again drives me nuts, but it does happen. So loser there takes that win away. But a lot of those are avoided by these settings. Like a lot of these pullbacks did not generate long trades. So that's the uniqueness and quality, if you will, of the settings that we're using. You know, so that it's not happening every pullback we get, which is pretty great. This one, let's see. 02, so 18 ticks available there, probably 30 or 40 here, a full 50 on this one. This one just barely pulls back and nicks us out, so that's always frustrating when the very next bar pulls back, but you know, sometimes it does unfortunately happen that way. Look at the last trade of the day. And more often than not, you'd be surprised, probably wouldn't be surprised how frequently this happens, you know, where you get a really nice run into the close. So 21 down to, holy smokes, 110 tick move. So I probably wouldn't have taken advantage of all of that, but pretty gorgeous. And today's price action, I was sweating it, man. I wanted today to perform well, you know, because today's our webinar day, and it did do pretty doggone good. 719 or so there, first trade of the day, big win. I mean, real big, right? Like what? Let's see, 100 ticks almost moved to the upside. And this one, let's just check it. It's not 10 ticks, so we're going to call it a break even. Unless you want to force me to call those losses, I'm okay with it. But I don't like to lose when I get up 8, 9, or 10 ticks. But then, it's kind of a slow, methodical day a lot of the time. But these trades grabbed, 15 to 12 to 18 ticks were available or more on all these, which is kind of nice. And then we started to get some big trades setting up. This was gorgeous. Very nice here. Although these two were absolutely the most maddening. I won't count them, but two massive whipsaws. So by this point in the week, I would have no problem with somebody saying, you know what, under the right circumstances, because look at this. We have a total topping area here. We punch through the top. It's a failure. Retest again. This is a great place for a short. So, I'm just sticking with the rules as they were identified and designed before the week started, and that's why these are not trades. But you can make, a strong move down out of that consolidation area. You can make strong point to why those two would be good trades to execute, and obviously the results speak for themselves. But then, even though it moved kind of slowly later morning and into the afternoon, it just grinded. It was so nice. These are big wins. Like, let's see, 85. That's 43 ticks available. 04. 25 ticks available. This is a nice one. 02. All the way up to that resistance area. That's a 50 ticks available. So, these are no joke. Definitely able to get our reward to risk on these trades. And unfortunately, the last trade of the day, a loss. All right, so let me add these up real quick, just wins and losses, and then we will open it up for questions, and I'll take you back to the PowerPoint so you can see email addresses and stuff. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 5 and 2, 5 and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a break even. So 10, 3, and a break even. 11. 11. 1 break even. We can count as a loss if you want to, and 3 losses. That was for today. And yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 4 and 2, 5 and 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3 and 4, 9 and 4. Were there any break evens? Oh yeah. One. 9, 1, and 4. 9, 1, and 4. Tuesday, give me 1 second. You can start to type questions, guys. I'm breaking this out. Here we go. Okay. Tuesday, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 with 1 break even. 6, 7. So 7. One break even again, right? And 2 losses. And Monday, this system, man, kicked some tail this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 and a break even. 6, 7 and 1 and a break even. 7, 1 and a break even. 7, 1 and a break even. So that's, let's see, 20, 34 wins, 7, 8, 9, 10 losses, and 4 break evens. That is a long shy from 50% winners that I'm hoping for. So when I create systems and things I want to trade, when I'm in the mode of increased reward to risk, which I pretty much always am, I'm really happy with 50% winners. 34 and 10 and 4 break even. So even if we throw the break evens into the loss column, 34 and 14. I don't know what that is, but It seems like somewhere between 65 and 75% winners. That's outstanding. This is real, guys. Had any of us been just running this system, now slippage and different things you don't know, but lots of money would have been made, almost no doubt. Now, what will happen tomorrow? I have no idea, and I'll report to anybody who's interested. So anybody who wants to know how it does, I'll let you know. And then same thing next week, we'll see. Does it maintain? It's basically on a 2-week really high quality run now. So sometimes optimization like this can last weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Other times it come and goes in a week. So we just really don't know. Oh, let me show you one other thing before I go back to the PowerPoint. This is the NASDAQ. Similar system, also optimized over the weekend. Okay, the optimization is not the same. It's its own optimization. So it was optimized over the weekend. This is what it did today. So this is the NASDAQ, just to show you that the YM wasn't just a one-off. Start the day with a win, huge win, and the NASDAQ trends, even better than, quite honestly, even better than Chris. We need you to join the Indicator of the Month Club, man, and we will absolutely get you set up with this. Definitely, definitely. Yes, awesome. Email, perfect. Number 2, number 3, and look at the size of these wins. I mean, ginormous, right? Then a losing trade, 4, 5, 6, 7, another. I mean, the NASDAQ is just awesome. Another loss. I think that's 8, and maybe we're up to 4 losses now, 8 and 4, 9, 10 and 4, 11 and 4, another just ginormous win, another loss with a break even. I think that's 10 and 5, 11, 12 and 5. But the main thing to look at here is look at the size of these wins. I mean, the NASDAQ just moves 12, 13, I don't know what that is, 14 and 5 or 6 or something like that. So again, I did the same thing with the NASDAQ, and it is also kicking butt. So pretty exciting stuff. All right, back to the PowerPoint. And if you guys are asking any questions, I will get to answering them. So let me go up to there. There we go. Let me know if you need to see a different slide. Okay. What time is it? We're not doing too bad. I guess that went a little longer than I had hoped. So definitely shoot me an email, guys, if you have questions. Okay, email me with questions. And obviously, if you want the discounted links, go ahead and email me. Let me see, Wolfgang. I'm reading, guys, here just for a second. So Wolfgang, are you able to come to our Indicator of the Month tomorrow? I really hope you are. I would love to dissect that and talk about that and see if we can come up with some solutions or ideas for you. And that would be the venue that would be really good for us to talk about that tomorrow at 4 o'clock if you're able to make it. Let's see. Yes, Robert. Indicator of the Month Club, recorded for sure. We maintain an archive and all that stuff. So looks like Pablo answered that already. But yes, we absolutely record that, and you can go back and view those videos as often as you want in the archive and so on. Yes, Chris, for we only have 2 indicators in the club right now. But I'm also going to start to, as often as I can. So I don't want to promise this is like a guaranteed always thing, but I will frequently share with the Indicator of the Month Club the updated any tweaking that I've done on this crossover system for sure. What indicators do we need to purchase to start? Brian, the main place to start is really all you need to do is purchase the Markers Plus, okay? You may choose, shoot me an email too, Brian, and we can go back and forth on this a little bit, but you may want to purchase a package that includes a lot of other awesome indicators, or you may want to not purchase any extra indicators and just join the club and get indicators that way. You know, honestly, you don't necessarily need any indicators right away because you're probably going to be creating a lot of your own stuff that, you know, that will support you with. So until we go back and forth a little bit, I'm not sure what best answer to give you. I don't want to tell you not to purchase. Pablo has a lot of very powerful indicators that are available. So, and you can package some of those really the most powerful indicators together with markers and get a big discount. So if that's something you're interested in, you know, we can figure that out and talk about it, but you don't need to, you know, you really don't. Markers is what you need. And from there we can build on it, if you will. Are you going to send invitations for tomorrow? If for everybody who if anybody subscribes to the Indicator of the Month Club tonight or tomorrow morning, they will be included in our 4 p.m. Indicator of the Month Club training. Yes, we will get all the startup materials out to you very quickly, and you will be invited to come to the training tomorrow. Does it work with Ninja 7? Yes. The Markers Plus and all of Pablo's stuff works for Ninja 7 and Ninja 8. I personally am still a Ninja 7 fan. I want to wait longer. I want more bugs to be worked out of Ninja 8 personally before I move on. But definitely both 7 and 8. So Brian, on your question about the SSS, yes, please shoot me an email. Let me know whether you're on Ninja 7 or 8 and your machine IDs. I'm working on an update over the weekend and probably will be hopefully getting that out to everyone interested early next week. And the answer is yes. Also, as far as automating, basically any system that you own that is an indicator or spits out a signal, you can automate it. So it's pretty cool. Do you need a powerful computer speed? Pablo answered. So Pablo says not really. He would know better because he knows the internals of how it all works. So an i3 is enough. Awesome. Hopefully, I'm going to scroll back a little bit just to see if I missed any questions. Wolfgang, if you're out there, if you could let me know. I don't want to, I feel bad that I didn't talk more about your really long written question, but I'm hopeful that we can really dissect that tomorrow in the Indicator of the Month training. So if you're able to hear me, let me know if that would work for you. So don't be shy, guys. Say hi. Shoot me an email. And obviously, if you're interested in the purchase links, I'll definitely shoot me an email. But you know, just to say hi or to ask questions or to back and forth, definitely want to engage you guys in that way. We will. It takes us a little longer to, you know, render the video and everything, but we'll also be sending this video out. It might be tonight or it might be not till tomorrow morning. Let me know if you have any other questions at all. Tim, if you could please shoot me an email, Timothy, shoot me an email and tell me whether you're Ninja 7 or Ninja 8. and provide your machine ID. Okay, and I'm trying to put something together, an update together over the weekend, and hopefully we'll get it out to all interested parties beginning of next week. Now, let me just be open about the fact that we don't have SSS indicators are not compatible with Ninja 8. So I hope the answer is Ninja 7. However, if there's a big enough group of people that would like them updated for Ninja 8, it's something we can talk about. But it's a pretty big job. It's actually a monumental job. So we'd have to have a decent sized little group that would be interested in having them for 8. And if there is, then we can figure it out. Dan Vandier, are you still in here? Dan, I just saw your email real quick, and I wondered if you're still in here. Looks like maybe you're all right. Can you hear me, Dan? A question was asked, and it's a really good question. Why don't you run a strategy performance report? And first of all, none of the things that I did today is a strategy. One of the things that Pablo and I feel very strongly about is that, and hopefully I was clear about this, this system that just did so great this week, kick butt, I mean, that was awesome. And if somebody was trading that live, they would have done exceptionally well, no question in my mind. That's not going to stay that way forever. Now, if we're lucky, we might get another few days, we might get another few weeks, but it's eventually, it will start to not do that well. There's really no value in short-term day trading performance reports. It's one of the big fallacies of the industry. Companies show these great performance reports, you buy the system, and then it doesn't work for you. Why? Well, a lot of different edge erosion factors can get in the way, but also the market's always changing. Those systems are over-optimized to produce great performance reports and look good so that they can be sold, and then they crap the bed. Now, again, for position trading, long-term trading, and swing trading, that can be potentially a little bit different. But to find something really good that's purchasable will be massively expensive. So that's why we don't do strategy performance reports, because they don't work. There's no such thing as a short-term day trading system that will produce the same results. Like if you run a performance report for the last 6 months or the last year, there is absolutely nobody can have ever been able to show me a performance report that moving forward in real live time for the next 6 months of this next year, that the performance is anywhere close to this great performance they show in their report. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. Don't chase it. So we don't even run reports because they're over-optimized, pointless pieces of paper. Hopefully that answers that. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap it up? Thanks so much for being here. Really enjoyed it. I hope I provided some value to you guys. Hope you have an awesome night. And a lot of you friendly faces out there, or names, some of you I can put a face to it also. Send me an email. Say hi. I don't want to hone in on your life or whatever if you're not interested, but I saw a lot of friendly names out there, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you're up to. All right, guys. Until tomorrow. Sounds good. Very excited about working with the Indicator of the Month Club tomorrow. Tell you what, guys, we are going to have some fun with the new indicators. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to try to keep the training short because we have too much other fun stuff to do. And then we're going to have fun with this system, teaching it to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. All right, that's a wrap. Take care, guys. Have a great evening, and hope to see you again soon.